again, around the foreshore and seabed, like Matthew, you talked about, being more closely associated with the left perhaps than the right. I mean, me and Chewy watched the documentary about the 20-year history of it and did an interview with the director of it here and that. And my first question was like, how the fuck can Māori still believe in anything to do with Labour after what they did over the foreshore and seabed? Tangent, I know, but you just sort of brought it up. It's like what Helen Clark said about those people at that point. I was just like, mate, you would have lost my vote forever if I was a part of that community. Sorry, little tangent.
No, you're right. I mean, the thing, media is the same thing. Māori are not homogenous when it comes to their voting. We never have been.
Yeah.
All you have to do is go back to 1993 when the first of the Māori seats of Northern Māori fell to New Zealand first. And then in 1996, the others fell over too. I think with the exception of Southern Māori, and then all of a sudden, next minute, they go back to Labour, next minute they go back to the Māori Party, and so on and so forth. Actually, Māori are a very diverse group of voters. What you don't find, though, is Māori standing against each other when it comes to this ho-ha with Hobson's pledge. I think they're fully united. They don't like it. And just to your point, True, about the Rahui, they're the Rahui that go on all the time because something's occurred. That's about us stepping up to be kaitiaki and making sure that people are kept safe. I mean, we don't want to see people taking komwana and seafood from a place where, as an example, somebody or some other people have drowned. Have a look at the mermaid pools and this just say the uncleanliness there, or sometimes Rahui apply to conservation areas. But those Rahui don't last infinitum as restricted access to some coastline areas when it comes to private landholders. So, I just wish people would just deal in the facts and the evidence. And it seems as if we as a country are beginning to drift further and further away from fact-based reporting, fact-based information. I get sick and tired of hearing, anecdotal evidence suggests, which to me says, I spoke to an old mate down the road over a beer at the local, and he told me about old mate down the road whose cousin's mother's father's brother's a dog. We've got to stop that shit.
Yeah, look, our little quote line for that, Matthew, is, anecdotal evidence may not necessarily reflect the data. So we just leave it right there. Just a couple of quick messages, then I'm finished. And sure, if you've got anything else to add in there. Tawhiri says, they need to ask themselves, when was the last time a Māori has evicted them? Most people that kick people off the lands are landlords, not iwi.
Yep.
And there's a couple more in here. One from Paul, the other one. Hobson's Pledge board member Casey, smoking's cool, kids, Costello, also wrote for the No campaign on the Voice campaign in Australia. Mm-hmm. And I'll just do one more. There's a bunch of other in there, but they're not necessarily related to exactly what we're saying. Peter, thank you for the super chat. The Herald's foray into AI generation content is also a concern. I don't think we'll see the last of that in media. It's been really good having you on, Matt. Chewy, you got anything else you want to throw in at the end?
I think I just want to really underline a point that this is exactly what Seymour has in mind when he says, I just want a discussion around the principles of the treaty. What's
Everyone's
wrong with
equal.
everybody having a say? Well, this is the quality of the say that we're going to let someone with the biggest checkbook have. That is why we are concerned. We are not going to have Seymour's perfectly pristine debate club wet dream of everybody just giving their honest truth and sticking to the facts and just putting forward an opinion. We are going to have people muddying the waters and slinging shit from the sides on behalf of much bigger organizations with an axe to grind overseas. Yeah. There are clear links between Hobson's Choice, the Free Speech Union, the Taxpayers Union, Atlas, the No campaign over in Australia, the shit show that's going on in Canada between Indigenous people there, the First Nations there, and that's had Atlas's fingerprints all over it. And I think a lot of the time here in New Zealand, we think we're too small to get wrapped up in this, and we're all fair dealing, and nobody's putting their thumb on the scales with their checkbook. And it's just not true. So I think we all have to be aware of that and point it out when we see it.